I'm Will Aldrich, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about the challenges of playing and competing for a national championship during a pandemic and a gauntlet stretch of games that could help improve seeding in the NCAA tournament.
I'm Ireland Viscount, and coming up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how the men's and women's swimming and diving team is preparing for the Big 12 championship.
America's newest national park is a lot closer than you think. I'm Cole Pancake, and I'm going to take you there on Mountaineer Playbook.
How's it going, Mountaineer Nation? I'm Ireland Viscount, and you're watching Mountaineer Playbook, the Reed College of Media's sports show.
And I'm Mark Schoenster. We'll be sharing stories from all over WVU club and D1 athletics. In our top story, we'll take a look at the rigorous schedule the men's basketball team is facing.
After a COVID-19 pause that halted play, the WVU men's basketball team are in the midst of a stretch that is unlike any other in the country. Will Aldrich is at the Coliseum to let you know what makes the schedule so difficult.
When the men's basketball team started their 2020-2021 season, they did so with national championship aspirations, despite the COVID-19 pandemic unfolding around them. With multiple pauses around the Big 12, the cancellations have created a gauntlet end-of-season travel schedule for the Mountaineers that, according to Bob Huggins, can't be related to unless you take part in it.
We're playing 3 games in what is it, 6 days now? It was 5 days, 6 days, and we're going to play in Austin, and then we're going to bust to Fort Worth and play again, and then turn around and bus again, and then fly home and get home at all hours of the morning. That's the hard part. The travel, nobody gets until you do it.
As usual for WVU athletics, when they're not playing here in Morgantown at the Coliseum, they take part in one of the most rigorous travel schedules in the country.
With both the travel and the COVID layoff, forward Derek CULVER says that he's experienced exhaustion and fatigue throughout the season, which adds yet another challenge to playing through a pandemic.
It most definitely took a toll on me a lot. I would just, when I came back, I just wasn't like myself. I could just feel like when I'm going up and down the court, it was just my legs, not necessarily like my wind necessarily, but it was like my legs wasn't really under me. So with that being said, I just have to, keep playing, fight through it, and I'll be all right.
While the schedule may seem daunting, with 4 top 25 matchups in the month of February, sophomore Miles McBride says that big games like this are a major reason he decided to come to West Virginia.
I love the moment because, I came from a big school in high school playing big teams. Everybody has that, we have that mark on the front of our jerseys as one of the toughest teams in the Big 12, and we're playing another powerhouse in the Big 12. It's always a primetime game, and that's the reason I came here and to play a game like this.
Moving forward, the Mountaineers will now head to Austin, Texas to take on another top 25 team in the Texas Longhorns. Will Aldrich, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
The Mountaineers were not able to beat Texas in January. Will be looking to level the series in order to stay near the top of the conference table.
The state of West Virginia became the 7th state in the United States to legalize sports betting 3 years ago. West Virginia sportsbooks produced $1.3 million for the Mountain State. Taylor Kennedy is outside the Wheeling Island Hotel Casino and Racetrack for more on the growth of sports betting.
Sports betting has been around for decades, even centuries for that matter. It dates back to the Roman Empire whenever people used to wager on a man facing up against a lion. No, not the Detroit Lions. But the state of West Virginia legalized sports gambling in the year 2018. For in context, 3 years ago. People have always been used to this paper slip as I have here with a 4-team parlay. You can do player props, team lines, whatever it may be. People used to always been used to doing it on the paper receipts. But now, in the 21st century, the use of the mobile phone and mobile apping through sports betting has been more popularized due to one of a couple of things: COVID-19 and people not wanting to go to the casino as the traditional way. Dave Sherapan, a longtime odd maker out in Las Vegas, does not think that the business has changed necessarily, but people are now starting to realize that they can get involved within this industry.
As far as the business goes, the business is still the same. It's still minus 110, a point spread bet. There's still money lines. There's still over-unders. So from an odds making standpoint, I don't think it's changed that much. It's just now the spotlight's gotten bigger.
The online sports betting industry has grown these last couple of years. According to a graph by grandviewresearch.com, the online betting industry will continue trending upwards at a rapid pace heading into 2027. Sherapan has seen this shift from his own experiences within the sportsbook.
If you got to even be 50-50, where your over-the-counter handle matched your online handle, that was big. Now you look at what happened in New Jersey and places like West Virginia and stuff, it's 80-20 mobile to over-the-counter. COVID only made that more because you couldn't go anywhere, or you had to go in a mask. The experience wasn't the same. So COVID made it the most important thing.
There are currently 7 casinos across West Virginia with legalized sports gambling, including the Mardi Gras Casino and Resort in Cross Lanes and the Wheeling Island Hotel Casino and Racetrack in Wheeling. If you have a gambling problem, you have to call 1-800-GAMBLER, or if you want to call the regular number, which is 1-800-426-2537. And if you want to visit the website, you go on 1-800-GAMBLER.net for more information. For Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Taylor Kennedy.
Last season, the swimming and diving team got to compete and use the new aquatic center at Milan Park for the first time in the Big 12 Championships. Ireland here caught up with the team to find out more.
The men's and women's swimming and diving team had a very successful season last year, even though it was cut short. The men only lost their first dual meet, and the women's team placing 5th. David Dixon, a senior on the men's swimming and diving team, explains the difference in seasons since the pandemic started.
So I think the biggest difference between this season and last season with COVID has to be the competition. There isn't really any competition, especially in the first half of the season.
COVID-19 has changed a few things since the season started in the middle of the pandemic. Individuals must wear masks, social distance, and sometimes even starting on opposite sides of the pool. It's cold now, but the swimming and diving team season is just heating up with the Big 12 Championship starting on February 26th. Last season, the team got to host the Big 12 Championship at the new Aquatic Center at Milan Park. This year, they will be traveling to Texas to compete. VANETTA, a senior, talks about the team's goals for the Big 12.
I know that, as a girls team, we've talked about moving up the ladder. Last year, we were 5th, and we want to be at least 3rd at Big 12s this year. I know our ultimate goal is to get back to 2nd.
As the season has not been the same due to COVID-19, both teams have been taking this last month to get ready for their last meet of the season.
The swimming and diving team will be competing in the Big 12 Championship starting on February 26th. We'll be sure to update you on how they do afterwards.
We'll be right back after a quick break. We've got more stories coming your way on Mountaineer Playbook.
Sarah Osborne is the only senior on this year's Mountaineer rifle team. Find out how her year has been coming up next on Mountaineer Playbook.
America's newest national park is a lot closer than you think. I'm Cole Pancake, and I'm going to take you there on Mountaineer Playbook.
We conquer mountains, but that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook, WVU's student-produced sports show. We still have stories that go from the New River Gorge to the rifle range. Isn't that right, Ireland?
That's right, Mark. Concerning the latter, the WVU rifle team closed the month of January with their senior day meet with senior Sarah Osborne, who has been honored as the event and has had quite the impactful senior year. Mark here talked to her and Coach Hammond to find out more.
WVU rifle means a lot to lone senior Sarah Osborne, and in her last home meet, her emotions came through.
You know, between small bore and air rifle, I was just like, wow, this is my last home air match. And it just hit me, and then a flood of memories came back.
With COVID-19 ravaging the world and meddling with the regular rifle schedule, the Mountaineers did not compete in the fall like usual. This meant Sarah had some time on her hands, and without other seniors to share in her struggles, she looked inward.
Last semester was rough for me, I will admit that, and I think it made me ask some bigger questions in life, questions that I think are important, especially as my rifle career is ending. So I would say that's probably the most beneficial thing to come out of my senior years, just to be able to contemplate those bigger questions in life and come up with answers to them that align with my values and my beliefs.
Sarah has looked to her faith, as well as fellow seniors from other teams, to get her through these tumultuous times. On top of that, she's looked to her head coach, John Hammond, as somewhat of a father figure who has helped her get through this. But this isn't just a one-way street. For Coach Hammond, she's helped transform the team's attitude.
I think we have a team that are more, I don't want to say kind is not the right word, but more supportive and really look out for each other and really care about doing things the right way. And she's definitely had an influence of setting that example and just how she lives her life.
Although Sarah won't be in the Counting Five for their last regular season meet in number 2 Kentucky, she says she wants to enjoy it, stay present, and shoot the way she wants to shoot. For Coach Hammond, she is definitely in the race for a spot in the Counting Five come tournament play, so her performance in this one matters. Mark Schoenster, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
What a great moment for Sarah in her senior season. One of the highlight moments was when WVU hosted the national championship in Morgantown during her sophomore season.
Coming up next, we're heading to the mountains with Cole Pancake, where our resident outdoorsman is going to take you to America's newest national park.
Last December, the United States welcomed its newest member of the national park family when former President Donald Trump signed off on a bill to establish the New River Gorge in south central West Virginia as the nation's newest national park and preserve. The gorge had been designated as a national river since 1978. However, residents and tourists had long thought that the gorge had much more to offer than just Class 5 rapids. The New River has had a large underground following in the outdoor community for decades, with bikers, climbers, and rafters hailing it as a hidden gem. However, not all recreators were pleased with the decision to designate the area as a national park. Many hunters in the area were upset when they lost access to 7,021 acres of public hunting grounds within the gorge, and many other residents were apprehensive of the number of visitors that will now travel from all over to see the park in all its glory. Recently, I caught up with Andrew Hitchcock of Elevation Sports to see just how much of an impact the park has truly made in the community.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to say, to tell you the truth. With it, there's definitely a lot of upset people, you know, in terms of like locals that have used the land differently than I think they're going to be restricted to now. So going forward, everyone has the, you know, the wishful thinking of that it'll be a good thing. And as a state, I think we need more as in terms of tourism.
The newest and 63rd National Park is open for business and welcoming tourists to safely follow the COVID-19 guidelines. I'm Cole Pancake, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Thank you, Cole. A well-deserved addition to this country slate of national parks.
I agree, Ireland. Not to mention, national parks are a great way to get out of your home and enjoy the world while staying socially distant. With that in mind, we've reached the end of today's edition of Mountaineer Playbook. I'm Mark Schoenster.
And I'm Ireland Viscount. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.